day. Hence the colour. I'm just loving colour at the moment, and don't get me wrong, it's not every day. Some days I wake up and it's literally pajamas all day. So some days I'm like, right, I'm going to get up, I'm going to make an effort, and I'm just going to make myself feel nice. But I don't do that through force. It's not like I'm feeling really lazy and I'm making myself do something. I believe it's about what you feel you need, right? Other than forcing and pushing yourself. There's a balance, isn't there? And I talk about this in yoga. So for example, there's a certain move that you want to move into, you want to get better at, but we're not going to do it in that day, are we? It's going to come over time. But not doing anything at all is also an implication. So trying to find that middle ground of I'm gently pushing, encouraging and motivating myself while also not procrastinating. And that's why I'm always talking about baby steps, right? Because if we don't do anything, we procrastinate, we don't even start. And if we put those goals really, really high, then we start off, but then we stop and we feel like we've become a failure because we've not actually continued along the path. So I've got this little message here from Shan. I journaled when I had a breakdown, and it was really to write all my thoughts in my head, and it was some horrible stuff that came out. Absolutely. And this is why I actually call it brain dumping. The art of brain dumping, actually. So yeah, I do it when I used to do it from a kid. I used to journal in planners. You know, I used to have my own little personal journal all through my life. I got bought one when I was 8, and it started from there. And it's always been the best tool for me to get out the stuff that I don't want to admit to myself, right? And it is those dark thoughts sometimes, Shan, because what happens is, and what a lot of you know I talk about, is if we don't out it, it gets pushed down and then it gets suppressed. And there is a post that I'm sharing after this, which goes into a little bit more detail around that. But if we suppress our genuine feelings, then we pile crap on top of crap, which are called meta emotions, and we never address what's really going on. And it's not that we're lying to ourselves or to other people. It's just sometimes we feel that we have to be or act a certain way in society, and being positive is very different to, or having a positive outlook is very different to pushing away feelings. If we're pushing them away, then we're not actually acknowledging what's really going on with us. And of course, it's going to come out in a different way. And eventually it'll either come down through this kind of breakdown that you've mentioned, or it's going to come out physically, because it's energy at the end of the day. So it is going to vibrate, it's going to move around, and it's going to manifest. So for me, the art of journaling is about brain dumping. It's about acknowledging that there's always something going on. It doesn't always have to be emotions and thoughts. And this is what today is all about. But there's 2 other ways that I like to brain dump. So one of them is work, because we can get ourselves, especially if you're in your own business, but still in anything that you do work-wise, you can get all these ideas, or you can start to plan, or you want to flesh out ideas, whatever that is, and it's just playing around in your head. And what happens, just like your personal emotions and thoughts, you go to bed, and then as soon as you try to silence the mind, it starts working overtime, doesn't it? And that can lead to insomnia, amongst other things. So by brain dumping all the different work stuff, even if it's things that you don't think have got legs, or some things that are annoying you about work, getting it out of your head takes all that intense pressure away, and it's there for you to look at. Like you've mentioned, Shan, then what happens with that sometimes is, especially when we're talking about emotions and thoughts, is that we can shock ourselves with what's really going on there. But if we don't out it, if we don't look at it, then it's going to build these kind of shoulds, that we have. I should be more positive, or I must go out and do this, or I shouldn't have these kind of thoughts, is what actually does the damage not the thoughts in the first place. The thoughts and feelings are genuine for you, and it's your subconscious, it's your soul's way of telling you that something just needs to shift a little bit in your life. It starts with a gentle nudge. It's like, oh, maybe you don't want to go out to that place tonight, and you ignore that intuition and you go anyway, because I should go, I must go. Okay, and then that gets louder. So the niggles, or the knocks as I call them, they get louder until we have no choice but to sit up and listen. And that's an example that you've put there. So I had adrenal fatigue from not listening to my body and my mind, and yours might come out in a different way. So it can come out in your behavior. It certainly did with me. When I'm not listening to my truth, I respect my truth now. If I've got a gut feeling, if I've got a thing like, oh, I don't really want to be around that person, for example, there's a reason for that, and I trust that now. So if I brain dump and go, about whoever, right, and then I look at it, I now go, that's interesting that I've got all these feelings about this person. Is it something about myself that I'm seeing here in this other person? Because mirroring, sometimes we dislike something in someone else that we don't want to admit about ourselves. Or it could be that it's triggering something from the past that's close to your heart, or it reminds you of somebody, or it's a certain energy that you're just not comfortable with. Journaling helps you to explore that in more detail. It helps you to be your own guru. It helps you to coach yourself, especially when you can start to ask yourself questions like, why is that? And then you write about it more, and then you think a little bit more. It doesn't always come straight away. It can be that one day you completely let everything out and it just feels like a relief, and then another day you come back to it and you go, I don't feel like that today. That's interesting. And I love that phrase, that's interesting, because it doesn't have any judgment on your thoughts or your feelings as dark or as light. It's just, right. Now, what I found is if I don't write down, like I don't do it all the time, but I have phases of when I journal. If I don't write down those dark thoughts, then they get missed and they get lost. And like a lot of us, they get brushed under the carpet, don't they? It's like they never happened. It's like when you're going on a diet that's really restrictive, what are you going to do? You will crave those foods, and you might even demolish a load of food and pretend you never did it. So it's that whole, oh no, it's okay, I'm okay now, today I'm okay. Do you ever feel like that? Because I've been there, where you can be in the darkest place in the depth of the night somewhere, and you think, I need help, and then you wake up the next day and it's like, oh, it's okay, and you kind of just let it go. Now, some things can be let go. Some things are just passing moments of emotion, of anger, and these are genuine. We're allowed to feel anger. We're allowed to feel sadness. It's only when you feel that something is kind of plaguing you, that it is impacting your daily life, that it's impacting your happiness, that your behavior is also reaching outwards, or it's happening regularly. For me, when I journal, it's when I'm feeling out of balance and I don't know why, because I know that when I start to journal, it will be revealed. And often it's because I have done some level of suppressing of those different feelings and thoughts. And when I start writing, it's like my gut instinct goes, yeah, it's that. I knew it was that you didn't feel like you've overcome. So it's, when we say the art of it, then it's that kind of allowing yourself to explore. It's allowing yourself to be different. Okay, and I think this is really hard in this modern era, to be different, because it's very much be part of what society expects. And by journaling, you find out a little bit more about yourself. By knowing more about yourself, you can make the right choices for you. So why I call it art is because if I was to say to you, what is art? Your answer would be completely different to mine. So it's abstract, or it's fine detail, or it's sculpture, or it's dancing, or it's music. This is all art. So how your mind works, how you feel, what you love in life is all very different for you than it is for me. So that's why I say you become your own guru. Once you out your message that you've got to say to yourself. Once you've like blurted it all out there and you start to move through it, whether it's the same day or whether it's a week later, you start to see certain patterns, or you start to see things and you go, right, okay, maybe I need to make a little change somewhere. And it's baby steps again. So maybe it's a little tweak to your life. Maybe it's that you need to start saying no to something, to someone. And in some cases, it can be big changes that you may be aware of, but again, you're pushing them away. And so we think it's easier to push them away because we're not having to deal with it. But then it's almost like, I use the metaphor of having an AC unit on in the background, or a loud fridge, and it's like a murmur that you don't notice after a certain time. You block it out, and then when it gets fixed or you turn it off, it's silent. And that little murmur can be in the background of everything that you do, every encounter, because it's deep in your subconscious, needs to be healed. So when you journal, sometimes you can have really powerful aha moments or moving things through. Of course, sometimes you also need to speak to someone, whether that's a friend or somebody else, to help you through that hurdle. But the more you get to know yourself, the more you know whether this is something that you just need to work through in your own way, or whether it's support that you need. For those of you that are on my tribe group, my Facebook tribe group, I'm connected to a lot of different wellbeing practitioners. So if it's energy healing that you're looking for, or if it's like mind work, you know, I can also help you, guide you to the right person, because I think some of our working with people is about how you resonate with them. We are all vibrations, aren't we? So it's sometimes just about finding the right person, and it might not even be what they're even saying. It's just that you feel more comfortable with this person versus that person. So I have a definition for mindfulness, and I talk about this a lot. Those of you that have ever been to my mindfulness workshops will know this one. And I can't say it enough, really, because a lot of you know that I'm a hypnotherapist, and you start with, it takes three things to rewire. So you start with the intention or the thought, and that's what we're going to do today with an intention. And then it's a reinforcement, and then you cement it. So with mindfulness, for me, it's, as much as it is about living in the now, it's also accepting that we can't be in the now all the time, okay? Because we would just be constantly so it's a good opportunity to take some water, actually. The water is going down my, we can't, you know, we can't be fully in the now all the time, and we're not made that way. We have the ability to think forwards, and we have the ability to think back, and this is great. So the forward thinking, brilliant for planning, you know, organizing. The looking back is great for reflecting and learning. But we have a tendency to push that a little bit further out. So planning turns to worry. Worry turns to, it's even going off the screen. Worry turns to anxiety. And on the other scale, looking back and reflecting is great, but it turns to regret. And then that can turn to depression. Now, we can all be on that spectrum, you know, even in one day sometimes, especially during uncomfortable and unusual situations like we've got at the moment. So it's nothing to feel bad about when we are on that spectrum. But what I would like to say is, I wonder if we can just draw it a little bit further in, so that now is in the middle here. And we're not aiming to be in that middle all the time, but a little bit less big fluctuation and a little bit more here. Okay, a little bit more in this area, and then time to time having that beautiful glimpse of being in the now, okay, which we do get from time to time. So my definition of mindfulness is, it's got three elements. I like three. Pause, check in with yourself, and then make a new choice. Pausing can be a variety of different things, and I talk about these three subjects at length because they are all three complete individual subjects. Pausing, as you know, could be like now. You're going, you know what? I'm going to step out and watch this, and this is my pause. A pause could be to breathe for a moment, or you could have a bigger pause. The bigger pause could be, right, I'm going away for this weekend. You know, I know we can't do this right now, but, or I'm going to go for a walk. or when we finally can, I need a holiday. Pause is a pause. A mindful pause can be in the mind as well, in terms of, right, today I'm going to have no coffee, but tomorrow I'll have the one coffee. So it's just being aware. And by being aware, we have to know about ourselves. So that's number 2, check in with yourself. Again, various ways to do that. So either checking in with the body physically. How is my body feeling? Do I have any symptoms of anxiety? Am I fatigued? What is going on here? Right? What's my breath doing? And then you've got knowing yourself, knowing your character. And by knowing your character, on the one hand is accepting parts of yourself, and on the other is bits that you might want to tweak and change. Okay. And we don't have to change everything about ourselves. We can work on accepting them. Like, I'm terrible at, like, I have my keys hung up over there, but it's almost like I feel like everybody's a schizo, because that was extreme, but I know I am. I've probably got multiple personalities actually. And with the keys, the good me, the organized me, will be like, yeah, I always look after I put my keys there. And my partner is the same, he loses his keys all the time. So when I'm in my ego cocky mode, I'm like, Dan, can you make sure you put the keys back at the key, and then I'll be all fine for a while, and then the other me will come and lose, and I'll have no idea where I put my keys. So I learn to be humble, right? And this is why we sometimes don't like something in somebody else, because it's part of ourselves that we're not able to accept. So we work on accepting parts of ourselves, yeah, I'm a bit crazy, or I'm a bit weird, or whatever. And we start to look at bits that we might want to tweak that are impacting us more long-term or more regularly. And it's like Eckhart Tolle said, we either influence something, change, whether that's within ourselves or around us, we influence something, we accept it fully, and that doesn't mean suppressing it and pushing it down. It doesn't mean saying, yeah, okay, if that's the way we're going to be, then that's not accepting it, is it? There's definitely a different energy than going, yeah, you know what, that's just how it is. Or leave. All else is madness. So he says, let's not make ourselves the victim. We can either influence it, we can accept it, or leave. Okay. So when it comes to my mindfulness, we pause. So it could just be like, hang on a second, my life is going crazy right now. What the hell is going on? Pause. Check in. Okay, well, what's really going on? Is it my life? Is it something specific? Is it hormones? Is it something I ate today? Without going on, because sometimes we have that tendency to overanalyze. We need to watch that. And then we make a mindful choice. That is mindfulness in the reality, in the how. This is how. So journaling does all of that in one. It makes you go, right, I am sitting now to journal. What is in my mind? I don't even know what's in my mind. I just feel weird. Okay, I'm feeling weird, and I'm writing it down. Okay. Those of you that were on my 10-day reset, we did the free writing exercise with live, and we just wrote, not allowed to stop. And that gives you a really good insight in terms of what your positive things that you're saying to yourself, what the neutral things are, and what maybe are not so positive that you're saying to yourself. You get a highlighter pen and you highlight those 3 different categories, and it's a real eye-opener, and you can use it as a tool to learn more about yourself, not judge yourself on that, but take the next step. So journaling, you pause, you're thinking, you're checking in with yourself, and then finally, whether it's that same day or it's a few days later, you start to make a change. So it's baby steps. So I'm just going to pause there while I've just kind of rambled on to see if there's any comments, and I'm going to carry on, see if there's anything else that I wanted to tell you. Time check. Yeah, we're doing okay. So Shan, you've put, when I read it back, I couldn't believe what I'd written. It came from so deep inside. It's a different part of me, a different person even. Yeah. Can you imagine if you had not? Because it would still come out in one way, wouldn't it? So I think you did yourself a real favor doing that. And it's something really important to mention, because you can bring out stuff that you don't expect. So it sounds like this beautiful, your oak desk with a quill in your pen, and you're like, I'm writing this, I'm journaling I'm journaling. You know, it sounds so lovely, but it does reveal some, and you have to be ready to face what's coming up for you, you know, and then go, right, when can I make a decision about this? Because don't push yourself into making big life choices. Sometimes it is enough to write it down and to go, I hear you, to your soul, to your inner self, and go, I'm with you, I hear you, I'm going to listen, but I'm not going to be pushed into anything. Only you do what you want to do in your own time. I believe life lessons are really tough. And it feels so tough for you on the inside, but to somebody else looking in, it looks like nothing. And that is because that is not their life lesson, right? So, what do I mean by that? If I had a real problem saying no to people in general, let's say that people wanted me to come out all the time and socialize all the time, and I'm thinking, I can't do that because I've got my little girl and I need to do my work, and I'm going to lose a lot of energy. But I have an issue with saying no. Then me turning around and saying to that group of people or a person would be literally hell saying no. However, now, because I've moved through that, I'm still learning, I'm not perfect with it, but because I've learned the hard way how to say no, because I had no energy, I couldn't physically do stuff. I can see it in a different way, and I can see when other people are struggling with it. So I don't push them into it because I know how hard that lesson is. If I had not gone through that, I might say, and then I was fine with saying no to people. I'd be like, well, just tell them no. You can't do it. How many times have you struggled with something that is something that's coming up for you time and time again with patterns, and somebody might speak to somebody about it and they think it's nothing, and they've got the best interests, your best interests at heart. It's just, it's not their life lesson. For them, they might have something else. For them, they might have fear of flying, right? And you're like, I don't understand. And to them, it's so intense. So we all have our own thing. In this lockdown, I'm getting goosies just thinking about it. I've got goosies. With this lockdown, from day one, I have felt that it has been a life lesson. Everybody is being faced head on with their life lessons, their biggest ones. And for me, it was overwhelmed. I overwhelmed myself. So the first thing that I did in lockdown was make myself too busy and overwhelm myself. I threw myself into a lot of different things, and I am slowly getting there. The anxiety that comes back from time to time is coming back less. My ability to say no is becoming stronger. So if you can take this time as an opportunity, when all that darkness comes up, when that pain comes up, oh, it's this person again, or I thought I'd got over this. This is because it's the universe, it's the source, whoever, whatever you believe in is coming here now to show you it's time to move through this. Take it. It wouldn't be showing up for you if you weren't ready to handle it. So trust yourself, trust the flow. And as we are journaling through that, that's how we reveal what is really going on with us. That's how we can start to think into the past, or think what might have happened, and move through the healing process. I say there's 5 steps to healing. It starts with awareness. We can't do anything unless it comes into our awareness. And that awareness can be shocking, it can be daunting, it can be fearful to go there. But the anticipation is always worse than the reality. It'll either come as a little niggle or something very dramatic, and everything in between, from a scale of 10 to 0. From there, we start to explore. Well, why? Why? Again, journaling covers all these as well. The third one is where we start to look at who, when, or what. This is when blame comes, and blame is a natural part of our healing process, but a lot of people get stuck at number 3 here. It's not easy to move from blame to responsibility. Responsibility is when you get a lot of empowerment. This is when you start to go, okay, yeah, I've seen it, I hear you, and I understand what you have been through. And I've got 2 paths now. I can go this way or I can go this way. And the path for peace has to be strong enough for you to go, I'm choosing peace, because it's a choice. It's a conscious choice to go, you know what? No, I'm actually going to go down this path now. And we go down this path. And then number 5 is putting it into practice. It doesn't stop there, does it? It's a circle. It keeps coming round and round, but it gets easier and easier. Number 5 is application. It's trial and error. It's going, okay, let me just try saying no here. Let me try this different technique. Let me try journaling in this way, or let me try an NLP tool, or a CBT. Let me try and rewire my mind that way. Let me try energy healing, or whatever that is. But the conscious choice is how you shift from responsibility, from blame into responsibility. And that's where you feel really empowered and lifted, because you know then, even if it's hard, even if the journey is hard, and even if it's like you feel 2 steps forward, 1 step back, the choice has already been made, and that choice comes from your subconscious. So your subconscious is 88% of your whole mind and body. So when you've got your subconscious on board, and that is your heart and your mind, then you're on that path. There's no going back. You can't unknow what you've known now. It's already in your awareness and you're working on it. So then it becomes more of a trust to yourself, trust that you have the ability, the resources to move through and live a more peaceful life more often. So Jackie, have I missed this one? Pause, check in, and oh, bless you. Pause, check in, and make a choice. Everything is a choice. And I remember when one of my friends were getting married and they weren't sure, and we talked about it, this years ago, we talked about it, and I said, you have a choice at the end of the day. So whatever you choose, and this was a friend who was having an arranged marriage actually, and whatever you choose, there is an implication. So you do have a choice. It's just that one will come with certain implications and one will come with others. What do you choose? You know, she's actually they ended up getting married and they're very, very happy, which is lovely. But whatever you choose, there is an implication, isn't there? So remember, whatever happens, there is always a choice. And in NLP, we say choice is better than no choice. It's just like one of the beautiful quotes, like, we're all doing the best we can with the information we have at the time. And I switched that to, we're all doing the best we can with the awareness we have at the time. Because we can look back to our younger selves and go, why on earth did you make that choice? We didn't know. We were thinking and feeling from our level of awareness at the time. And each day, each situation, each issue that we are faced with elevates that awareness even more. So we can't look back and berate ourselves for the things that we did or the choices that we made. We were doing the best we could at the time. So what have I got here? Any other comments that are coming through? Seeing if there's anything I've missed that I want to do. I've gone off kind of on a little bit of a tangent, but what I tend to do is I have a message that I want to share with you. I have like bullets that I want to go through, and then I just kind of roll with my intuition and the energy of the group. And for whatever reason, I really felt I needed to tell you that. Maybe there is somebody in here that needed to hear that today, but I kept getting goose pimples, as I have now, that somebody needed to hear that. Amy says, how would you start journaling? Currently I journal about my day, but it's all positive and not really what I'm feeling. Yeah, and that's okay. That's okay. You're starting. So you're asking, how do I go from really being truthful with myself? Yeah. So start with, do you do it on a day when you're feeling good or a day when you're feeling bad, Amy? And you can always unmute your microphone if you'd like. Both, okay. Right, I'm trying to get into your headspace at this point. Is it because, is it like this? Is it like when you know that something really helps, like meditation or good food, but we avoid doing it? Is it like one of those things where you just need to cross over that? Yeah, I know that feeling. Why do we do that? Okay, so we fall off the wagon a lot. You know, you're not alone. Everybody does. It's that first step. The first step is always the hardest. I'm going to start you off today. Okay, what we're going to do together is I want you to think about, and this is something that I saw posted today, and I just thought this is perfect for today because it made me think. So what we're going to do, we're going to pause, we're going to think, and then we're going to write something else. Okay, we may make a choice. All I want you to do is think about one word that sums up your experience of lockdown. It's hard. One, you can start with a few words, you can brainstorm. So Amy, you can and write the ones that are not good as well. Okay, it doesn't have to be a positive, uplifting word. It's what word. And while you're thinking, in a moment, I'm going to offer some suggestions, but I don't want to put them in your head before you've had your own thoughts. Let me give you some silence to do this. So I'm going to throw some random words as they come into my head. Some so-called uplifting, some so-called not uplifting. I asked my partner today, what's his word? He said trapped. And I said, you know what though, your life hasn't changed at all in a way, because he works from home and he very rarely leaves the house. And I thought, that's interesting. For other people, it's enlightening. For somebody else, it might be healing. For somebody else, it's a nightmare. For somebody else, it's rejuvenating. For me, I put bubble. I feel it's like a bubble because there's certain people around me and there's certain people that I keep contact with, and that is my bubble that I'm living in right now. And I kind of like my bubble, but there's also moments where it's not good. But as I say, I feel like I've turned a real big corner recently. It's hard having a toddler in lockdown. So just keep thinking about your words. There might be a few. And for Amy, you know, as you've put there, just brainstorm loads of different words. Okay, that's where we're going with it. So what I'd like you to do with that word, if you're happy, a juggle. Nice. Yeah, I like that actually. I know no, it's a good one, a strange one, but I am juggling everything. Oh, it's tough, right? Juggle. You've already started writing, Amy. Can you see? You've already started writing. You've put a juggle and you've put, right? So ask yourself as you're writing down now, why is that a strange one? So start to talk to yourself about it. Why is it strange for you? What are you juggling? And this is for everybody now. So whatever word you've written down there, just like I've explained a bit about my bubble and what my bubble means, what does it mean? So you've got refocus, Shan. Yep. So what have you had to refocus, for example? What was unfocused? What was out of focus? Health. Okay. Yes. Satellite. Interesting. So explain a bit more about satellite. Because chaotic, Tracy. Okay. Yeah. You're all giving me goose pimples tonight. I don't know what's going on. So with the chaotic, start to talk about that, because we can move through these words to another word in a moment, and that's where we're going to make a choice. And it doesn't need to be an action unless you are ready for an action. Frustrating. Yeah. And for some people it'd be grieving. You know, there's no right or wrong here. There's some people that are on their own, lonely, bored. There's some people that are overwhelmed, got too much to do. You know, there's key workers. Charlotte, grief and anger. Okay, yeah. So pick one or two. I mean, they're clearly going to be linked. So in that case, about what, right? So this is you. I mean, obviously you would need more time, but this is getting you started. Jackie, I can bounce things back into, I feel like I'm in space. Oh, okay. Interesting. Trish, feeling of loss, family couldn't visit from the UK. Yeah, I get this twang from time to time, Trish. So for me, it's I lived overseas for 8 years, so I didn't get to see my family very often. But it took years actually to get used to that. So it's almost like that's not too bad for me. And Other things have not been too bad because I've experienced it before in a weird way. So, for example, I was in Spain for 2 months. I chose to, hilariously, I chose to isolate myself for 2 months. I came back for 2 weeks ready to get back in the world, and then boom, lockdown. So got my daughter back in nursery, brilliant, can focus on work again. And yeah, had to bring her back out again. But I had gone through those really awkward and annoying conversations with my partner about how we were going to manage Isla. That had already been done as well. So different experiences will present different, make things easier or worse. So Angela, peace, frustration, disappointment, and fear. Yeah, because it's all how you're like, how can we pick one word? I know. Yeah, it's interesting because peace has come for a lot of people, hasn't it? In a weird way, not everyone, but it's for those that haven't. Could it be showing you what normally does bring you peace, what you are missing? You can write about that. You can go, right, okay, this is what I'm feeling. So therefore, once I get out of lockdown, or what I can do for now, and this is when we start to make a choice. So is it because, am I feeling this way because I've not yet moved through the thing I need to move through? Or is it just because this is just not me? I'm just not a person that can isolate. I need to be out with people. There's no rights or wrongs with this. It's helping you to understand who you are. And by understanding that, you can start to go, right, well, this is what I'm going to do. And it starts to rewire. Mono, what were the 3 things we need to rewire? So do you mean like the pause, check in with yourself and choose? Yeah. So the pausing is we're going, right, okay, everyone, what are we actually feeling? What is the word that sums this up? Then you're checking in with yourself. You'd obviously need to do a little bit more time on this, but you might already do it now. Based on that new information that I've just revealed from myself, because I didn't have my word bubble until today, until I thought about this, you're revealing stuff out of the depth, out of your soul. And from there, you make the choice. So do I like my bubble? Do I not like my bubble? So I'm asking myself now, what is it that I do like about my bubble? I like the fact that I don't feel obliged to go out. I don't feel obliged to go here, there, and everywhere. Why? Because it's the perfect excuse, isn't it? I can't. But for somebody else, might be like, I like my bubble, but I do really need to be out and about all the time. So how am I going to make the most out of my time here? And what will I do when I get back? For somebody else, if they've got their word as bubble, they might be like somewhere in between, but they're really scared about going back out there because they feel they're going to have to be that same person again, yet something's changed inside of them, or they've allowed themselves to recognize the truth about themselves, and they're like, actually, I might be a bit more of an introvert than an extrovert. All these friends and people might be expecting me now to be out and to be I only want to do something like once or twice a month. So then it becomes an exploration of how you do that, how you start communicating and becoming the real you. Not watching the news has helped. I was watching it way too much at the start. I don't watch the news, so I don't for years. So all the important information always gets back to me. And I think the reason for that is other people around me are watching it. They do tell me. And I've got a lot of friends all around the globe, and they tell me as well. So important information generally gets back to me. I do check in during lockdown because I think it's important to know what's going on. But I have a very, very short fuse with it. It's like information off. I put my Spotify on and immediately my mood is shifted. I put on my songs and I'm like, this is great. I'm like living, the sun's out. So I listen and then I put it away because there's no good everybody feeling crappy because we need to uplift each other. When I first came back from Dubai to the UK and we were dealing with the family trauma, I knew that I needed to go on a certain level of healing before I came back. I needed to bring the light. If I was to come back in a dark place as well, I wasn't be contributing to anything. So when I came back, it was the perfect time to kind of like plonk me in the middle of everybody, start playing music again, give people permission to tell jokes, you know, so we need those both sides. So try to keep yourself uplifted, even though you're feeling the weight of the world on you as well. Okay, it's that balance, isn't it? So I want to leave you with a little meditation, because we've just gone on to 8:16. I don't want to take too much of your evening up. So I want to kind of leave you with something uplifting. Again, I'm just going to go with my intuition on this. But the reason why I do this is something you can do for yourself. When you out something, it can mess about with your chi, it can mess about with your mind, it can trigger things. So it's always good just to do a little bit of an uplifting exercise that helps to neutralize you back. So you're bringing it out, you're facing it, you're feeling it, and then you're settling it back down again. Okay, so let's just bring that energy down. And you can always, not on here, you can't do it on Zoom, but you can always just message me or do a message in the group itself on the event if you've got any questions around this. And of course, the 10-day reset is starting again on Sunday, the 31st, if you want to join us on that, all about journaling. But for now, this probably will give you enough to get going by yourself, and just start, basically. And if you've done the reset before, maybe just to get back into it. So we're going to just close our eyes, roll our shoulders with an inhale, and an exhale and down. Let's do that again. Inhaling, back and down. One more time. And this time we're just going to blow that out through the mouth, just getting rid of everything. Just letting the face soften. Maybe you can feel the tightness in the face from the muscles being used, from the concentration, from the worry, from those words that may have come up for you. Those words that we're allowed to feel. We're allowed to feel frustration, anger, annoyed, fed up. We're allowed to, in the next moment, feel peace, happy, joy. There is no judgment. We all are experiencing this roller coaster. One day, feeling great. The next day, flat. Another day, fine. Another day, completely beside yourself. It's absolutely normal in these situations. And even if this is something that's a pattern for you, that you start to recognize comes up even not in lockdown, and just be kind to yourself. Start to say to yourself, I hear you. I hear you. And I'm here for you. I want to know. I want to help. And as we start to think about our words and what they mean for us, start to just take a moment to let a word bubble up in your mind. And this word is the third part of our mindfulness. We paused, we checked in. Now we're going to choose a word, and this word can be anything. It can be an action, a decision, a feeling, a thought. It can just be simply, it's okay. You could just be telling yourself, it's okay. Or I am enough. Or it could be the decision that you will journal tonight or some other day. Or I'm going to give you some silence now just to let that choice, whatever that means for you, bubble up into your heart, into your mind. Sometimes it's hard to choose, and that's okay too. As we practice non-judgment of any of our thoughts that come up. Thoughts are just thoughts. They are not us. Our emotions are not us. They are always passing through from all your previous experiences till this day. You're confident knowing that feelings and thoughts always pass, no matter how intense. So even if that choice doesn't present itself right now, just plant a seed in your mind to grow, to present to you at some point when it's ready. Just set the intention to hold a space to receive it. It could be received as a word, a feeling, in a dream, through someone else, through music. Just allowing yourself to be open to receive that message, the message that you need to hear. Taking a moment to thank yourself. Thank yourself for being here, for showing patience with yourself, for moving towards that junction, choosing peace more often. Be proud of yourself for that. Taking a deep breath in with that now, deeply into the belly. And releasing anything else that we don't need, that's not serving us in a positive way anymore. 2 more times, out through the mouth. Inhale. One more time. Feeling lighter already. Trusting yourself. Being kind to yourself as often as you can when you notice. Keeping that with you now as I slowly count you back from 1 to 3. Beginning with 1, just thinking about uniting the mind and body together. 2, wiggling fingers and toes, a deep breath in. With 3, opening the eyes, giving ourselves a stretch. Just coming back into the here and now. And maybe a drink of water. And just feeling like the nervous system's had a chance just to soften, just to relax, to give you a clearer mind to make the right choices, as well as a gentle rest for the body. And so I will leave you there to have a lovely, relaxing evening. I will be doing the live meditation next Thursday evening, the long, deeper one. And you all know where to find me, so I will log off now. You're welcome, Charlie. I hope you're feeling better. I hope you're feeling good. And that's all it is, isn't it? Just keep feeling uplifted. You're welcome, Amy. And well done for starting. Tracy, my pleasure. See if I can see all your faces. You might have logged yourself off because of meditation. There you are. Wonderful, Angela. Gorgeous people. So, have a lovely, lovely rest. You fell asleep? Yes. You know what? sometimes your body just needs it, right? No judgment on that. See you Thursday, yes. So I will see you all soon, and yeah, keep in touch. Keep me posted.